Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you for joining us here on the program. I'm going to have a brief conversation with Dr. Philip Salem. Now, Dr. Salem is a former White House healthcare advisor to both Presidents George Bush and Bill Clinton, and he's joining us here on the program to talk about his upcoming book, Defeating Cancer. Knowledge alone is not enough. Welcome to the program, Dr. Salem. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Now, I mentioned some very impressive credentials, former White House healthcare advisor for Presidents George Bush and Bill Clinton. Give us a little bit of your background, maybe what led up to you being advisor to two presidents.
Well, I've been in cancer medicine for 50 years. When President Bush chose Bert Lee as his personal physician and the czar for healthcare in America, Bert Lee was a great friend of mine. Mm-hmm. He asked me to join an advisory committee to the White House on healthcare. Mm-hmm. And that's how I came to serve on that committee. Mm-hmm. I was a member of 12 experts. And our job was to provide advice and recommendations to Dr. Lee, and in turn, Dr. Lee will take these recommendations to the administration and to the president.
Mm-hmm. So you have become an author. Is this your first work, or is this one of several?
No, I'm a writer. Mm-hmm. In Arabic. I speak Arabic. I'm originally Lebanese. I love to write. I come from a family of authors, and this helped me a great deal in articulating issues with patients. I love to write. This is the second book in English about my experience in cancer. The first book is entitled Cancer, Love, and the Politics of Hope, just to emphasize the importance of love and hope in the treatment of the cancer patient. There is a big issue in America in regard to the treatment of the patient. We should always remember that when we treat cancer, we are not treating a disease. We sometimes forget the human behind the disease.
Now, there's as you say, a misconception of what standard therapy should be. Standard therapy being, I guess, the top 3 traditional treatments for cancer, depending on the type of cancer. Why is that not always the best course of action for a patient, especially a cancer patient?
Right. Standard therapy means that it is the best treatment that a consensus of experts decide upon. And when you need a consensus, there is a lot of compromise. Now, standard treatment is good, but many times, from the time standard treatment was instituted or was established, progress would have been made and a better treatment will be available. But it takes time for the better treatment to become a standard treatment. Now, my argument is that the patient should receive at any point in time the best treatment available for them, whether it is considered standard or not standard. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 4 years to make a very effective and good treatment a standard treatment. I don't want the patient to lose the opportunity to receive the best treatment until the treatment becomes labeled as a standard. The big issue here is that when doctors resort to treatment, which is not standard, but it could be much better than standard, they are exposed to litigation. And therefore, doctors shy away from giving treatments which are the best to avoid litigation and to protect themselves.
Well, it seems to me that a diagnosis isn't a simple thing of diagnosing and then immediately starting what you consider to be the best treatment. It seems that it would be necessary to take time to start a treatment. So I guess starting immediately or investigating several different treatments based on the patient and the diagnosis. Is that correct?
That is correct. A big mistake and a very common mistake made in America and all over the world is that the treatment will be commenced immediately after the diagnosis is made. And this is a big mistake because you need time when the diagnosis is made to confirm the diagnosis, which is a very important issue, because many times the initial diagnosis could be either imprecise or even incorrect. You shouldn't start a treatment before you are 100% certain of the exact nature of the disease. And then the second step is you need to stage the disease. You need to know whether the disease is still localized to the organ where it originated or whether it has spread to the rest of the organs of the body. And the third step before you start treatment is to obtain a group consultation with experts, because the treatment of cancer entails many disciplines, entails chemotherapy, immunotherapy, targeted treatment, surgery, radiation therapy, and knowledge has been very explosive. There is no one doctor who knows everything about these treatments. And therefore, the group consultation, in my opinion, prior to starting therapy should be a must.
Now, in your book, Defeating Cancer, Knowledge Alone is Not Enough. Now, we've talked about having the knowledge through diagnoses and doing the research and finding out which is the best course of action for each patient who's going to be treated. As you say, knowledge isn't enough. You mentioned the human factor early on in our conversation. How does your book address dealing with people, as humans rather than simply a disease that you're trying to eradicate or cure as quickly and as effectively as possible?
Sure. Doctors sometimes ignore issues other than knowledge. And these issues are crucial to the achievement of cure. You cannot treat a patient for months or years without establishing an excellent relationship with the patient. This takes love, compassion, caring, accessibility to the doctor, which is a very important issue nowadays because doctors are immersed in paperwork and in routine stuff. They have little time to sit down and talk to patients. Mm-hmm. And you have to instill patients with hope and push them for perseverance. Without hope and perseverance, it's difficult to cure a patient.
Well, where can our listeners get a copy of your book, Defeating Cancer? Knowledge Alone is Not Enough.
I will send you one. Make it easy for you.
Thank you so much. And do you have a website that we can go to and learn more about you?
Yes, sure. It's www.Salem, P as in Peter, A as in America, Salem, 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 one word, .com.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
it
so
is
much.
www.pasalem.com.
Thank you. Dr. Salem, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program, and I'm hoping that we can talk again sometime in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au.
Thank you for listening to Health Professional Radio. We're very proud to be an independent broadcaster providing our content free of charge to you, the listener. One of the ways that we're able to remain free and independent is by having people like you become patrons. You can support Health Professional Radio simply by visiting hpr.fm and clicking the button that says Become a Patron. Your patronage of even just $1 a month lets us know that you're there, which in turn makes us more valuable to advertisers. And, of course, if you're able to afford more, then we would certainly appreciate the support. My name is Toby Longhurst from Health Professional Radio. Please visit hpr.fm, click the Become a Patron button, and support us if you can.